Sunday, August the 3rd, 2025, approximately 19:37 hours, Jackson Township Police Department was dispatched to a suspicious circumstance on Fort Anthony Road in Jackson Township, Montgomery County, Ohio. The call was reference a cooler with a bad smell coming from it. At that time, they called for German Township because one of our crews was tied up. German Township got there, was able to get the tote up over the dirt hill that was behind, and at that time they were able to get the lid off of it and noticed that there was a nude female inside. Once the tote was open, she was wrapped in towels and a tarp. The plastic tote had screws keeping the lid down tight, and that's at that time we secured the scene and called Montgomery County Sheriff's Office for their evidence techs and homicide detectives to come up and assist in the investigation. So, Chief Earl will take it from here.
So on that night, the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office sent out our homicide division and also our evidence technicians to respond to the scene. The body was recovered by the Montgomery County Coroner's Office. The next morning, we sent detectives and EV crews back out so they can able to walk the roadway, the wood line, and the bank, looking for any additional evidence in the daylight. An autopsy was complete by the Montgomery County Coroner's Office on Monday, August 4th, and the female victim was identified as Brittany Fuhr-Storms, 28-year-old white female. It was also discovered that she was pregnant and the baby was also deceased. This investigation led Montgomery County Sheriff's Office detectives to her last known address was down in the city of Franklin. Information gathered with Franklin PD led us to the city of Middletown. Through combined efforts with the Middletown Division of Police and the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office detectives, 2 suspects were identified and arrested Tuesday night, August 5th, 2025. Through the investigation, it was determined that the female, Brittany Storms, had died under suspicious circumstances while at the home of a James Rothenbush at 2020 Logan Avenue in Middletown, Ohio. James and another person of interest, Rick Shepard, left Brittany's body in the shower of the home for several days before putting her body in the tote and driving it out to Fort Anthony Road located in Jackson Township and disposing of the body. I will now turn it over to Middletown Deputy Chief Morgan to talk about the charges both of these individuals are facing from their department as they will be handling this investigation moving forward.
Thank you, Chief. So, members of our Special Operations Unit, they were actively aware and investigating the location where this deceased female came from in our city, which is 2020 Logan Avenue, Apartment A in the city of Middletown. Based on the information obtained in Franklin and Montgomery County Sheriff's Office investigation, led them to contacting us. Through this joint investigation, suspects were developed on the evening of 8/6/2025. We served a search warrant for narcotics at 2020 Logan Avenue, being the residence of Mr. James Rothenbush. Rothenbush was detained at that time, and the search of the residence resulted in a quantity of fentanyl and some other drug paraphernalia. During the narcotic search warrant, items of interest in the death investigation were observed. As a result of that, we obtained another search warrant for those items. I believe as a result of that investigation, the search warrant, subsequent interview of Mr. Rothenbush, he was later booked on the following charges, which is corrupting another with drugs, which is a felony of the 1st degree, tampering with evidence, a felony of the 3rd degree, gross abuse of a corpse, felony of the 5th degree, trafficking in drugs, felony of the 3rd degree, possession of drugs, felony of the 3rd degree, failure to report a crime or death, misdemeanor 4, and possession of drug paraphernalia, which is also a 4th degree misdemeanor. A second person of interest, which was Mr. Rick Shepard, was located later at 608 Baltimore Street in our city. Shepard attempted to flee from officers, but he was quickly apprehended and detained. He later stated that the deceased died from alleged overdose, and she remained in the house for approximately a week before being removed and left in Montgomery County. Mr. Shepard was later booked for gross abuse of a corpse, a felony of the 5th degree, and tampering evidence, felony of the 3rd degree. Both subjects did admit to knowing that this female was pregnant. The cooperation between all agencies involved was great, led to the arrest of these individuals. We will continue to work together on this matter along with the Middletown Prosecutor's Office, the Butler County Prosecutor's Office, to ensure a successful prosecution. So and there are further charges that could be expected. So,
Deputy Chief or
Yeah,
Manager
I just want to jump in more time before you guys ask any questions. So like I said, there's a couple things, but I want to make sure that we've invited some of our detectives that handled this case. I know Middletown's guys couldn't make it up because they're working the case right now, but I want to make sure the community knows that when this came to us and we had it, you know, a lot of the TV shows shows these things being solved in, you know, an hour's time and within a day. But the cooperation that we had with our police locally here, the city of Franklin, Middletown, all working together the way they did, everybody dropped everything, as they should when you find out that a mother-to-be was just dumped on the side of the road. So I want to applaud the efforts to the detectives assigned to the Montgomery County Sheriff's Office Homicide Unit, the vice guys at Middletown, the detectives at Franklin. As soon as we called these guys, they were up here in our office within an hour sharing intel. So you don't always get that cooperation all the time around the United States and in Ohio, but in this case, you got to kind of tip your hat to those folks that really, for basically 48 hours straight, worked this case. So
I just wanted to ask, so you believe that she may have been dead and in these gentlemen's home for a week. Do you believe that if she lived in Franklin, she went to that house on her own in the first place, like back on July 26, 27, somewhere in there?
it's really hard to say. Like, as Chief said, with it being an ongoing investigation, there's still a lot of information that they're trying to gather on this case. So it's really hard to say right now.
I see that, are you gonna wait for some coroner's reports before you go back to prosecutors? Because right now, neither of these two gentlemen is charged with murder.
Correct.
Okay.
Do you know of any more specific relationships you may have had with these gentlemen? Anything romantic, friendship? Do we know of that at all?
No, ma'am.
Do you know how long the baby was along?
I don't think that's been determined yet.
that has not been determined, and so you guys know the coroner has still listed her death as undetermined because they are waiting a lot of tests to come back.
Your department, Chief, Deputy Chief, your department, are you familiar with these two before this incident?
Yes, our special operations unit were actively investigating this residence prior to this.
Who was it who made the call? Was it a 911 call? How were authorities alerted that there was a stinking cooler?
There was two individuals walking the roadway.
Chief, can you come up to, I'm sorry, Chief, can you come up to?
Not a problem. So the initial call was called in by two individuals that were walking on Fort Anthony Road. There's a lot of people that are down there on foot. It's adjacent to a Metro Park ground. There's a creek there as well. So they were walking allegedly down the roadway when they smelled something, and that's when they called 911.
Or will you go back to the map just so they know? When we keep saying, you won't see this on some of the maps, but this is Manning going into Anthony. Oh. But the right side going up on this gravel is still considered Fort Anthony Road. So when you guys keep hearing Fort Anthony Road, that's what we're talking about. And this is the area or approximate location where the body was located.
And I'm sorry, is that Fort?
Fort, F-O-R-T,
Fort
Anthony
Anthony
Road.
Road.
Correct.
And then Chief, if you would just talk about the fact that, you know, people think of a cooler, a typical cooler, and they don't see how an adult female could fit in it, but this was a larger container. Talk about that a little bit, just kind of.
It wasn't a cooler at all. It was a tote. So it was more of a storage tote that you would keep, you know, large items in, you know, your Christmas tree, possibly something like that. It was a larger tote. I'm not sure of the specifics of the size, but yeah. And clearly there was a struggle to potentially get her in there, but yeah, it was large enough for a human to be in.
So like a storage tote, of
Correct,
sort, like the
yeah.
plastic bins that
Plastic
you can,
bin,
you can
plastic
see
lid,
through?
correct. I think
Wow.
it was wheeled on one end, then they had used wood screws to screw the lid down. So,
And this is, I apologize for this, it's not very sensitive, but had they broken bones or done any dismembering to get her in there?
not to my knowledge. I mean, an autopsy would be able to confirm that rather than myself, so.
And then just back to the people walking on foot. They made a call to 911.
As a suspicious, it came in as a suspicious circumstance, around, I think the specific time was around 1937 on Sunday evening. One of our crews was on a structure fire, so German Township was actually the first to respond. So they located the tote on the backside of a small dirt berm, probably 10 or 15 foot from the roadway. It was just off the edge of the road. They were able to get the tote up over the dirt berm and get the lid off of it, and that's when they discovered that she was inside.
And German Township Fire Department.
German Township Police Department are the
German
ones that
Township.
initially, yeah, they're the ones that initially had opened, and then my car arrived shortly thereafter, and that's when we started getting the phone calls, so.
And is there a 911 call logged somewhere? Because I believe that we've
Yeah,
requested
well, I'm
that.
sure the, regional dispatch center should have the 911
Okay.
call.
Was it
Yeah.
through Inglewood, but they're down?
Well, we're down at RDC now, so yeah, it would,
We'll figure out how to
Yeah.
get a copy.
Yeah.
because
Okay,
that's not
thank
an
you very
issue.
much, yes.
Chief, well, I know there's no one here from Franklin, but if anyone has this knowledge, had victim been reported missing? Because there was at least a week there. Had any missing persons report been turned in or anything?
So the way the city of Franklin was involved, that was her last known address. So that was the first place our detectives stopped to talk to them. And where she was living, at least at that time in Franklin, she was not entered missing at that time. No.
And were there any, I know that you said it's being investigated as an alleged overdose at this point, but the investigation is ongoing. Were there any visible injuries to her body?
Well, I want to clarify. I don't want to say that it's being investigated.
Okay.
It's a suspicious death. The
Okay.
matter has not been determined. We're going to do toxicology and all that kind of stuff. The fact of the matter is, these gentlemen here have some guys in custody that were there at the time that she died. That's a problem. They don't have any 911 calls. They don't have anybody going for help. That's an issue. So they're going to continue with their investigation as this progresses. A lot of times before they'll go any further with any charges, they have to have everything back from the crime lab and the toxicologist. That's what his guys are waiting